Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
Hashtag Stop Galamsey now, 61 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM, live on myjoyonline.com, live in all 16 regions, and Menuveve FM in Aflao, ATL FM in Cape Coast. We're live on X Spaces, we're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, organized labour remains firm on its plans for a nationwide strike this Thursday, unless the government meets its three key demands to tackle illegal mining in Ghana.
What's the definition of that more time? It is for us to make a decision. We are between life and death. Organized labor, we all agreed on. And that is what NAT is standing on. We stand by it.
We're live at the TUC conference room here in Accra for that deliberation. Also voting underway at several public universities as UTAG members decide whether to strike. Early results show that the University for Development Studies branch has voted overwhelmingly in favour, with 86% supporting the action.
We have faith in our members who ask us to issue the presser and to attend joint organized labour in this regard. We are sure that overwhelming majority of our members will vote for the industrial action.
But elsewhere, the affront appears to have been broken.
Our views have not been taken. It's just on few top there. And they don't know what they have been taking. Or they know they can't take decision for some of us. And you just get up there and take a decision that you alone, you are declaring strike. You declare strike for what?
Also this afternoon, Accra High Court grants bail to Amma Governor and 11 other Fix the Country protesters, but refused bail for its leader, Oliver Baker Vormawor. We're live in the court. National Education Authority workers declare an indefinite strike over delays in the implementation of their service scheme.
And what it means is that anybody who wants to acquire a Ghana card at any of the district offices across the country, who have misplaced his card, needs his card to do banking transactions or financial transactions or any other service in Ghana, would not be able to access our services.
The sports.
Kwesi Appiah temporarily resigns as Executive Council member of the Ghana FA following CAF's directive.
And I'll bring you today's episode of our Streets of Disperse series. We'll tell you the story of a 24-year-old Trotro mate whose dream of becoming a journalist is slowly slipping away.
From my childhood time, the work I wanted to do, the one that was my topmost priority was to be in the journalism thing. No, I know that in this world there is nothing easy, but being on the streets is absolutely not easy.
That and more is what we have for you in this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. And this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. And the hashtag Stop Galamsey now is still on. And the leadership of organised labour this afternoon remains firm on its decision to proceed with a nationwide strike on Thursday unless their demands are met. The group is calling for a state of emergency declaration to protect water bodies and some rivers, a temporary ban on small-scale mining, and the revocation of LI 2462, which permits mining in forest reserves. President Akufo-Addo, we know, met with labour leaders requesting some more time to address these demands. Currently, organised labour is meeting at the TUC conference to decide the next course of action. I'll take you there live shortly. But first, Secretary General of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musa, reaffirmed their commitment to the strike deadline.
What's the definition of that more time? So these are questions that people will be asking. And the question is, will the people die? Will death ask? What will happen to them? What will happen to them? So the issue, like I have said, it is for us to make a decision. We are between life and death. Organized labor, we all agreed on. And that is what NAT is standing on. We stand by it. Organized labor, we all agreed that number one, there should be a declaration of the state of emergency. That was a decision. Or that is, not even what, that is the decision of organized labor. Number two, that is a state of emergency. Number two, that the LI mandating people to go to the forest reserve should be revoked. NAT stands by it. That is a decision of organized labor. So once NAT is a member of organized labor, we stand by those decisions.
Thomas Musa is General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT. Let me take you live to the TUC headquarters. My colleague Emefa Apawu is there for us on that particular deliberation. Emefa, has that meeting started?
Hi, Emefa. So as we speak, the meeting hasn't started, but it looks like it is nearly starting. We were already in the hall about 40 minutes ago. Members were walking in, some in twos, some in threes. You wonder what they're discussing, but the meeting looks like it will start shortly. But as we speak, it hasn't started.
But you've been interacting with some members who have been trickling in. What exactly have they been telling you about the expectations?
Absolutely. So I've been up close with Professor Jampo, and he's been quite clear that today he expects that meeting that happened would not yield results. That means that 10th of October, there would not be any strike. He still expects that there should be the strike, and also been quite angry about the allegations of some monies that may have exchanged hands. And then he said that obviously if today doesn't happen the way he expects, he is a leader of another union, he shall stand.
When we said we're going to strike, then suddenly the president says, let me meet you, and then I'm going to do X, Y, Z. All these things are just unnecessary, diversionary, and delayed tactics aimed at festering the destruction of our environment by people who do not care about us. Otherwise, why is it that even around the time that we are fighting, we are told that more licenses are being issued? And so it is not about proposing any solution where you have lack of political will to combat a problem. The only thing to do is to also wage a counter war by speaking in a language that is better understood by the politician. And so I expect our strike action to proceed. But I hope, and I'm hoping that I'm just an individual. I will make my point, and I would insist that I be placed on record so that Ghanaians would know what I said at this particular meeting. I hope that others would not live in a manner, or would not conduct ourselves in a manner that would make people believe the useless allegation that some of our leaders have been given 400,000 cities. That's cheap. We are not that poor. The politician who made this allegation, I'm sure, is poor in his mind, but we are not that poor.
So that's Professor Ransford Jampo, the leads UTAG, University of Ghana, Legon. They're interacting with my colleague Emefa Apawu, and that meeting at the TUC headquarters is yet to start. And I said when it does, I'll take you live there. Meanwhile, members of the Universities Association UTAG have also started voting in various campuses to decide whether or not to endorse the decision to strike in line with the body's constitution. Voting has already ended at the University for Development Studies, and my colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with results. How did it go?
So they've written this letter to the National Executive. They say that I write to submit to you for your perusal and necessary action the outcome of the polls conducted by the UDS Electoral Committee from October 5 to 6, 2024 on whether or not UTAG should embark on an industrial action. The following are the results represented on the pie charts. And it goes on to say that the implication is that 311 members who cast their vote, 86.5% agree with the motion that the UTAG should declare an industrial action, while 13.5% disagreed with the motion. And this is signed by Professor James Kwabla Fuzua. And we've been speaking to the national president of UTAG, Professor Mahamadou Akurgu. He says that he is optimistic his members will vote overwhelmingly for the proposal.
In the case of UTAG, our constitution mandates that individual members have to vote for the declaration of an industrial action. We have started that process already. The council approved that the processes to trigger the industrial actions will start. And so our independent elections committee is starting the voting process, and we have given ourselves by latest by the 8th of this month, all the voting would have been completed across all member campuses, and so and we have faith in our members who ask us to issue the presser and to attend joint organized labor in this regard. We are sure that overwhelming majority of our members will vote for the industrial action to be declared by the 8th of this month. All campuses would have voted and results and declared by the 8th.
And the 8th is tomorrow, and we are counting down to that. That's Professor Mahmoud Akurugu, is president of UTAG. Let me take you to the central region and check on the University of Cape Coast branch of UTAG. Chairman Dr. Jerry Opoku and son, we are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So what's exactly the line that your members are towing? Have you voted already?
Thank you, Emefa. Good afternoon to your Jerry's listeners. As we speak, the University of Cape Coast, the voting is ongoing. It's underway. Will end 4 p.m. And so we are yet to know the decision of members from the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, but as it stands now, you have no indication as to where it is going?
No, not at all. Because of the voting is online and you can't predict what somebody has voted. And so we have to wait after the voting process. Then we will declare, the Electoral Commission will declare the results.
And you are not able to tell me how you voted?
Not. I will not tell you how I voted.
Okay, well, I'll touch base with you again this evening to find out how it went. We are grateful. That's Dr. Jerry Opoku, is the University of Cape Coast UTAG chairman. Well, in the Ashanti Regional Capital, members of organized labor are also holding a news conference, and my colleague Nana Boakye Dankwayi Adomabebio joins me with the very latest. What exactly are they saying?
Well, Emefa, these concerned members of the organized labor this morning have said that they are refusing to join the strike by the organized labor scheduled for 10th October. Well, they are raising some concerns. They say that there's political exploitation of the organized labor, lack of consultation, and unconsensual action by leadership of the organized labor. They also say that the issue on board, which is Galamsey, is a national issue and must not be politicized. Therefore, organized labor should propose ways by which government can put a halt to this menace and not to go on a strike. Well, they are putting forward some things that they think leadership can bring on board to make sure that there is consensus. They should suspend any plans for a nationwide strike or demonstration, respect the views of the broader membership, and also make sure that there's proper communication from leadership to its members. We can hear from Dr. Opoku, who is a member of UTAG in the Ashanti region.
My members have not been consulted. I am a member and I'm not aware about whatever is going on. You can ask all the members on campus. You can go to campuses and ask if they were consulted. Our views have not been taken. It's just some few top there. And they don't know what they have been taking, or they know they can't take decision for some of us. They have to come down. We are in academia, we are teaching, or we are lecturing, and you just get up there and take a decision that you alone, you are declaring strike. You declare strike for what? You can declare the strike, but come back to us. Let us know why you should go on strike. If my child, my son, my daughter, a field engineer, asks me, Daddy, why are you not going to work? I say, my boss said they shouldn't go to work. Is it normal? You don't use wrong to correct wrong.
But long before today, the organized labor have made or has made their appeals on the media. They have talked about this issue. Why now? Why are you coming out now?
But they should talk to me through the media. We have the channels that they're supposed to use. So he who seeks equity must always come with clean hands. If they are saying the government is not doing certain things well and they are doing wrong thing, are you sure it's the right way to go? They should come back. They should come back and let us all understand what they want to do.
You are binded by a constitution. Does that not mandate organized labor to take such an emergency, step?
You are calling emergency. You are calling this emergency.
That is what they call it.
I said they are calling this emergency. So it was just yesterday the water bodies started showing that color. They are calling emergency. Just yesterday, that foreign bodies moved from somewhere and came there and then destroyed the forest. It's just yesterday. They are calling emergency. It's a shame.
That's the leadership of organized labor in the Ashanti region after that press conference, interacting with my colleagues Nana Boakye Dankwa Yadom and members of the media back here in Accra. And Accra High Court has presided over by Justice Comfort Tasiama has granted bail to Amma Governor and 8 other Fix the Country protesters. The accused persons were arrested for alleged unlawful acts during a 3-day protest against illegal mining. A member of our legal affairs team, Kwekwa Sante, joins us on the line with more. So who benefited from this bail and what are the conditions?
Well, two high courts, two divisions of the high court granted up to 21 persons bail. And in fact, let me run you by the list. Earlier, the general jurisdiction granted Amma Governor, that popular lawyer who took part in the protest, together with Yimano Kwabena Ado, Ziblim Yaku of Hineba Prem, Philip Owusu Kwabena, Akisi Bik, Desmond, Von Kofi, and Sadek Yakubu. They were granted bail to the tune of 70,000 cedis with 2 persons to stand surety. So that is the condition. Felicity Nelson, Fred Boateng, Cedric Bansa, Wendell Yabua, Emmanuel Ofe, Samuel Samako, Ni Ayi Thomas Yabua, Nana Amo Mensa Pepra, Michael Amofa, Deportee Idris Yusuf, and Benjamin Dako. They were also granted bail by the criminal division of the High Court to the tune of 20,000 cedis and 2 sureties. So 21 of them all granted bail now with varying terms and conditions.
Well, but we know that last week the Attorney General at the Judges and Magistrates Conference called on state prosecutors not to oppose bail.
Well, yes, in fact, if you have that sound of the Attorney General, he made that categorical. And in fact, also when the petitioners presented a petition to the AG, the spokesperson for the AG's department did indicate that they will not oppose a number of those bail applications. But today in court, it was a different case altogether. In fact, at the general jurisdiction, the state attorneys who were present actually opposed the bail application, and they said that it is in their view that the court should not grant the bail application. That was contrary to the Attorney General's edict at the Association of Magistrates and Judges Conference. But in court today, they did oppose that. That is at one of the courts where Amma Governor and co were granted bail at the general jurisdiction. However, when you come to the criminal court, the Attorney General's department was not represented at all. In fact, when the case was called for all the other persons, including Oliver Baker Vormawor, the state was not present. There was no state attorney to make the case for the state.
Okay, hold on. I would want to hear about the leader of the Democracy Hub, Oliver Baker Vormawor, and his status. But let's hear from the Attorney General what he said at that conference.
I can therefore understand it when the judiciary supports the work of law enforcement officers by dealing firmly in accordance with law. All acts of violence and lawlessness, especially as we go into election 2024. We cannot take the progress Ghana has made in establishing democracy as a way of life for granted. I urge the police service to swiftly conclude investigations by the next agenda date to the cases involving the prosecution of excesses for recent protests in Accra, so as to exclude by that date all those against whom sufficient evidence cannot be found to proceed further. I also advise the prosecution to consider relevant bail applications at the next agenda date of the cases.
And you're saying that they actually opposed the bail application?
Well, yes, at the general jurisdiction, the lawyers who came to represent the state attorneys, did oppose this bail application and actually impressed on the court to refuse the bail application. Yes.
Now, what's the case for Oliver Baker Vormawor and why he was refused bail?
Well, Oliver Baker Vormawor was represented in court today by Dr. Justice Sai. He made the case that Oliver Baker Vormawor, despite facing trial for treason, has almost always appeared in court and it's not a flight risk. And that as far as he is concerned, when Oliver Baker Vormawor is granted bail, he will show up to actually face trial. In fact, he did cite 2 cases, Martin Kwebu versus Attorney General and Oko versus the Republic, to back this case that he made before the court. The judge then came in and asked that, what is the guarantee that if he is to grant Oliver Baker Vormawor bail, he will not go and commit another offense? And with this, the judge cited Section 96(5)(c) of Act 30, the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act, which guides the grant of bail. And so that is what the judge stood on, to say that he is not assured that if Oliver Baker Vormawor is granted bail, he will not go and commit another offense, for which reason he will be brought before court. And so of all the persons that were put before court today and whose bail applications were taken, all of them granted bail with the exception of Oliver Baker Vormawor, who the trial judge, who the High Court judge, I should say, says it's not assured that Oliver Baker Vormawor, if granted bail, will not go and commit another offense.
What then happens to the rest?
Well, so all of them now granted bail. In fact, the lawyers now just getting out, trying to coordinate and get the persons who have been granted bail, the Ghana card and the sureties for them to be released as soon as practicable. When it comes to Oliver Baker Vormawor, the court did issue a directive that the circuit court must immediately start the trial, and if within 72 hours the trial has not started, then the circuit court may consider granting bail to Oliver Baker Vormawor. But about 53 protesters were arrested, 21 as of this morning now granted bail. Oliver Baker Vormawor denied. It means that there are 21 persons whose bail applications have not been moved. I'm just being told by the lawyers that they will move those applications tomorrow. Mind you, most of the remand orders expire tomorrow, and most of them are expected to appear before the circuit court tomorrow. But the expectation we are getting from the lawyers now is that the 21 others who are still not being granted bail, they will have their bail applications moved tomorrow here at the High Court before they proceed to the circuit court. And if the trial will begin, then we'll take it from there.
Okay, that's my colleague Kwekwa Sante. He's a member of our legal affairs team. Well, we've been hearing from President Akufo-Addo, and he says he's not responsible for the remand of the 53 protesters currently standing trial for unlawful assembly. We are now hearing that 21 of them have been granted bail. The rest will be heard tomorrow. He's been speaking on France 24.
People misconduct themselves and they're brought before court. It's for the court to deal with them. That's not a matter.
It has nothing to do about politics.
It has nothing to do with the executive. And their behavior is what lands them in problem with the police and with the courts. It's not the protests. How can the president, who himself, his political career was aided by leading protests, have problems with protests? I don't have problems with protests. And nothing is done in Ghana to prevent people from airing their views on anything.
President Akufo-Addo there, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and Kumasi, on Love 99.5 FM. We're on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. We're on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. We return from the break. We have sports. NIA workers declare an indefinite strike over delays in the implementation of the service scheme. And we have our episode of Streets of Disperse series today. And we are focusing on a 24-year-old church roommate whose dream of becoming a journalist is slowly slipping away.
From my childhood time, the work I wanted to do, the one that was my topmost priority was to be in the journalism thing. No, I know that in this world there is nothing easy, but being on the streets is absolutely not easy.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere for everyone.
Dial star 712 hash. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I to ticket as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win is the car prizes are in the community draw, or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Let's do sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Emefa. So Sudan coach Kwesi Appiah will not serve on the Executive Council of the Ghana FA until after November. This comes after his decision to temporarily step down from the position following CAF's directive to avoid a potential conflict of interest. Muftar Nabila Abdullahi has more.
CAF, in a letter to Kwesi Appiah on Sunday, October 6, advised him to temporarily step down from one of his roles to ensure the integrity of the game of football is preserved. Portion of the letter says, for that reason, and to preserve the integrity of the AFCON qualifiers, I urge you to take immediate action to resolve this conflict of interest, including, at a minimum, temporarily stepping down from one of the two roles until the conclusion of the competition. Joy Sports understands Kwesi Appiah has stepped down until the end of the qualifiers in November. Sources says Kwesi Appiah will not step down from the role permanently and will only do so based on the suggestion that has come from CAF.
That's Muftar Nabila Abdullahi with that report. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, if you need to get a new Ghana card or replace a lost one, you would have to wait for a while, as workers of the National Identification Authority have laid down year 2 starting today. NIA offices of all 275 districts are shut down until their demands are met, according to the authority's divisional chairman of the Public Service Union, Francis Bamfudemi Nyazugu. He adds nothing will compel them to work if management does not heed their requests.
We have written the letter to engage them to understand what is happening about the implementation process of the scheme of service. No feedback was received, no written reply was received. We wrote saying to the board indicating our concern, the scheme of service operation as part of our great concerns. Nothing has been heard from the board, no one called us on this particular issue. If the document is operationalized, we will go to work. Other than that, we have chosen our priority right. And what it means is that anybody who wants to register acquire a Ghana card at any of the district offices across the country, who have misplaced his card, needs his card to do banking transactions or financial transactions or any other service in Ghana, would not be able to access our services.
Well, that's the situation with the NIA. Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is optimistic the launch of the Citizens app will make access to public service seamless. The app, described as a user-friendly platform, intends to break barriers and connect users to vital services effortlessly, from filing taxes to assessing social welfare programs and others. Launching the app, the Vice President said Ghana cannot afford to be left out of the global changing world, hence the need to embrace the fourth industrial revolution.
Government will be meeting the striking labor groups to continue the negotiation process. The last time we met,
as a country that has missed the previous 3 revolutions that many nations took advantage of to become developed countries, we must not miss the 4th industrial revolution. We must seize the opportunities that this 4th industrial revolution presents. There is mounting empirical evidence that highlights the transformative potential of digital innovation to create jobs, boost productivity, increase income levels, and foster wealth creation.
That's Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is also celebrating his birthday today. And just before we head out, at 24, Godwin Osei's dream of becoming a journalist is slipping away. He works as a church mate in Accra, hustling to survive after his single mother could not afford to further his education. In this episode of Streets of Disperse series, Kenneth Jesse tells the story of the ambitious young man from Ifijasi Banco who, despite life's challenges, remains hopeful for a better future.
Godwin starts his day at 4:30 a.m. His bed? The worn-out seat of a trotro. For the past 6 months, this has been his home. He calls out routes, collects fares, and pushes through Accra's endless traffic.
The sake of the network we do, the carries are really sleep. Unless I do not work that very day, then I went to one of my friends.
But Godwin's story did not start here. He grew up in Ifijasi Banco, dreaming of becoming a journalist. After completing high school in 2018, his family's financial struggles forced him to put those dreams on hold.
Since from my childhood time, the work I wanted to do, the one that was my topmost priority was to be in the journalism thing. Yeah. So I started the mates work there about SS time. When we vacate from school, then I get back to one of my uncles at Bremen UGC. then it be there that I commence the meat work.
Now, he wakes up each day with the same determination. Despite the hardships, he remains hopeful, believing things will get better.
It's not easy to roam on the street to find a food for yourself and cater for yourself. It's very, very hard work. No, I know that in this world there is nothing easy, but being on the street is absolutely not easy. Though my mother helped, but you can't always. I'm not his only child or something like that, and I'm the eldest one among them.
Before we left, I asked Godwin to show us his true passion, and when he did, it was clear he had the heart of a journalist.
Yo, mind this year, no, see, abo, and I opepon, a bobo sumeda, a tosso, a dunai, a film, any adriano, and I move. And you may know, see, I can see a ball, and I abo, no, I did bremo, I will enquire my soul, and prefer close to any year, I will be bremaya. The SEC were a manchiane and Chiano, so or my gun and Muha, and Eddie Blowy. Mea, or can kind for Midday, or can kind semi Abramo, and may PSC and Anaya or say, aka Amman for the door stocky.
Each day, Godwin puts on a brave face, hustling to make ends meet. To passengers, he's just another mate, but behind his eyes lie big dreams, telling stories, not from the streets, but from the very newsrooms he has always aspired to join. Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Definitely an inspiring story there, ending today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Many of you are talking about Free the Citizens. That hashtag is still on. Stop Galamsey is also on social media. I'm told Baumia at 61 also on. And I'm told the song will just not go away. I'll leave you with that. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. Faith without work is dead, episode 1. I am